Okay, it's streaming now. So we are live.
Hello YouTube! Welcome back to a new episode of Stacktalk.
So we've got people from THS and TSB here today with us. And today we're just going to cover some topics that we think would be worthy to be covered again. We started the first episode on my channel, but now we want to transfer it over to the actual official channel for THS. And so that's why, if any viewers that have already seen episode 1, that's why this one is also going to be called episode 1. So to start us off, let's start with the first topic we have listed, PTC in steam locomotives to allow them to operate onto the mainline trackage for Class 1s. Now, a question that I've heard from a lot of people on it is, I've heard a lot of complaints, like a lot of people don't want PTC on a steam locomotive, and I just want to clarify that it's...
mention your audio is very quiet.
Let me fix that really quick. Which one's quiet, my mic or the...
Everything.
Everything?
I can barely hear me, and it's hard to hear you.
What the fudge? Filters. Add that. Gain. Let's see if that changed anything. Let's turn down that. We don't need desktop audio. Okay. Tell me how that sounds.
Say a few things.
I don't know what to say, really. So I'm just kind of saying that I don't know what to say in order to say something.
Let's see if it comes through. Come on, you stupid stream delay. Alright, your voice is better, ours is just quiet.
Okay, now you should be able to hear yourselves a lot better because I just upped it. So
we won't worry about it more past that because the stream delay makes it ridiculous to try and tell back and forth. So let's move to the first topic.
Okay, so PTC on steam locomotives allowing them to run on Class 1 mainline trackage. And what I've heard is a lot of complaints about people saying stuff like, oh, we don't want PTC on a steam locomotive. It'll run the train itself. Well, a misunderstanding is of what PTC is. PTC is one of the greatest creations ever made for railroading, and it is one of the best investments that any railroad could ever put money into. PTC helps operators, engineers, and conductors not only to see their territory, but learn their territory easier. And what is displayed from PTC on the computer screens is you have your exact milepost. You see the tracks ahead of you showing all signals, crossings, curvature, gradients. You see your train on it. You see your stopping distance and your warning distance, and your warning distance is the only thing that PTC has control over your train. So warning distance is basically this line in front of your train where PTC will start warning you about something. And so let's say you've got a red signal in front of you and PTC thinks you're going too fast from this certain amount of range to get stopped in time for this red signal unless you start braking. So if you don't start braking or slowing down for this slow order or lower speed limit, you know, PTC is going to enforce your train with a suppression application in the air brake system of your train. So, with all of that being covered, to help everybody understand what PTC is, the reason that steam locomotives would need them to run on a mainline trackage is so that they can be identified by PTC to allow them to move fluently along the trackage with other mainline trains traversing the territory. So that helps them kind of categorize how to run it, where to run it, when to run it, and so forth. So the reason that PTC isn't put into a lot of Class 1 or a lot of steam locomotives to run on Class 1 trackage is due to the fact that the firebox inside of the cab, it makes it too hot, and that the computers would get too hot and fry themselves due to the heat. So they can't really find a solvent in between that, and I spoke with people at TVRM, and they said that's why the 4501 and 630 doesn't have it. And they spoke with the I can't remember his name, but the guy who runs the big boy, he said that's the biggest problem and biggest issue he has out of 4014 is the PTC box or computer being inside of the cab, and it just makes the computer run slow and just terrible. So I don't know if you guys have any questions to follow up for that.
Well, it makes sense on why they don't put it in a lot of them, but it still sucks at the same time because,
Well, wouldn't it be possible to put these systems in like a tool, like a power car of some kind?
Well, maybe no. I would assume that the why, I don't know what all goes into PTC, so I could be wrong on this, but I'm assuming, you know, like the boxes on diesel locomotives that you see like on top of them or something showing that it has PTC, I would guess that that has to be somewhere within the area of the locomotive that it's being put on, because it's like a tracker, a GPS kind of thing. So it would need that exact location of, you know, the locomotive.
Well, but that would be the thing, right? If you put it somewhere else, you just have to tie that car could never leave that engine. That would just probably be it.
Yeah.
But even still, you're saying like it's still it needs to track where the engine is, not where it could be.
Mm-hmm.
isn't it possible to just insulate it in some way?
I have no
Can you just
idea.
put it in a box with insulation, because the boiler itself has insulation in the wrap, the jacket, to keep it from losing as much heat as it could. You could do the same thing just to keep heat out.
I would assume that you could do that, but TVRM, they want to, you know, put it on their locomotives, but they haven't found a way to. So I'm not sure personally on what you could do in order to prevent at least a good amount of heat from accessing the wiring and the computers themselves without damaging it or slowing it down or something.
Because we like even at my I mean it's not obviously we have our own steam system, so we run our preheater and rolls run around 300 to 400 degrees, and there's a computer system right next to them, so they're probably insulated too. But granted, it's also not, you're not next to the actual firebox of the boiler. You're just dealing with a heating element.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if there would be, you know, any kind of like solution towards it. I'm sure there will be one discovered someday by somebody, but as far as I know personally, I'm not sure.
Actually, if I could interject here, There has been a quasi solution that has been discovered recently.
Okay.
So, I know the guys down who operate 2926 are testing this technology with the 2926. I don't know too much about it, but it's something called LEPTC or like LEPTC or something along the lines of that. And I forget exactly how it works, but it's something similar to kind of like how 4014 has a DPU stand. So they have like, I think it's the screen in the cab, but they don't have the box on the locomotive, but they have a cord that would run back to a diesel that has PTC, and they would just use the PTC box or the computer from that locomotive and just have it projected onto that screen.
Okay, so I kind of understand where you're coming from. What the scenario that I've kind of based out in my head is that, you know, it's still going to heat up the screen, but the wire that goes back to this diesel locomotive, like, that kind of means that that locomotive has to be hooked up to the steam locomotive at all times. But where I kind of imagine that it's allowed to, you know, be uncoupled is like in yard limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah, as I said, it was a quasi solution. You know what I mean? Not a full-on solution to this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's probably going to be tons of more people who try to come up with their own ideas of how to get around it or mitigate it, or make it easier for steam locomotives to have it so that it doesn't literally burn every time they try to put it on an engine.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with time and technology.
Of course.
You
So,
could just wrap the wires in like extra room and run an air conditioner through them.
mm-hmm.
God, AC in a steam locomotive cab, that's the dream.
Oh god, yeah. The comparison that I made between being in a cab with AC and heat, depending on weather, of course, and standing in the cab of 4501, my god, it is hot in there. Okay, so you guys want to move on down the list?
Yeah?
Okay. So let's cover CNO 2716. There's been very little to no updates on 2716. Does anybody know anything besides?
Other than what's been publicly posted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm still a member of KSHC. I get emails sometimes about like events going on, but I don't know, I haven't seen really anything.
They haven't uploaded in 9 months, and the last one on it in particular was 2020.
Mm-hmm. That sucks, man. I really want to see that engine run. But,
I mean, it's still coming.
yeah. Oh well, regardless. On down the list since there's nothing for it. So let's get on to one that's been gaining a lot of popularity and how quickly they recovered. East Broadtop. What engine is it that they have running right now? 14?
16.
Oh, 16.
Millie, or now nicknamed Nick.
Okay.
Not Millie. Millie's 6. Millie's 14.
Millie's 12.
Okay.
12. See, I don't even fucking.
So I know it's been recovered enough to run, tourist trains, but dude, I just want to talk about how quickly they rebuilt all of this trackage and just brought it back to, fruition. Like, that blows my mind. That was just, what was it? They started, and it was like a month later they had however much trackage covered all the way up to, I don't know the EBT trackage very well.
They had the line restored within about up to what's it called, Grove, where the Y is. That's about 5 miles. They had that done within about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And 16 was under restoration the whole time when they started the project. So 16 got footwork start. When they started restoring the line is when we started working on the engine. So they were already operating tourist trains for a year with their little switcher engine.
Yeah.
So
So
16 they were moving quick, and now they're moving over to now they're trying to get over to Robertsdale, which is very much going to be the test of the group. I feel
mm-hmm.
it's 2 tunnels to restore and the bridge at Pogue.
Ooh, 2 tunnels.
2 tunnels have to be completely rebuilt, basically reworked to modern standards.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing is the 1 tunnel used to have, I don't know how they're going to do it, but well, the 1 tunnel's so long they have to have doors on it, in which the doors can be shut to not cause any issues. So the curiosity thing is, how are you going to implement the rolling door system? Because that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
What steam locomotive are they looking at restoring next?
I believe 15 and I want to say 17. Let me double check. I think 15's the next one. It's one of the 2 smaller mics, I believe.
So
They
2
were
of
wanting
them.
to do the ones that were easier first to save problems,
Mm-hmm.
I think
which is why they kind of picked 16.
from what I heard, the 2 that they're restoring, one has a great running gear but a shot boiler, and the other one has a great boiler but shot running gear. So I think they're gonna go with the one for the. They're trying to. I think when they discovered whichever one had the boiler problems, they kind of stopped and were like, all right, well, let's take a look at the other one, just because that's a lot of work.
Oh, dude, I'm an idiot.
But I went up there when 16 was first. I went up there the weekend of 16's in revival, and I can tell you, it's it is very well run. That group there is doing a phenomenal job with what they've been given, and
Man, I want to go to it pretty bad.
they are doing God's work. Honestly, I mean, like I said, that was one of the most. I've been to Strasbourg. I've gone to I've gone to a few places, and I've seen how they run, and that was arguably Strasbourg level professionalism with everything. It was very well run. I thought it was better. Honestly, quite frankly, I thought it was better. I thought it was much better than I experienced at Strasbourg, just simply because it's not, some small line in the middle of Lancaster. It was a coal hauler in the heart of Pennsylvania the heart of the Pennsylvania mountains, like hidden away.
Mm-hmm. I recently picked back up interest in visiting scenic railroads and tourist railroads. So my girlfriend and we've decided. Well, I kind of dragged her into it, but she wants to go see them. We want to check out EBT. Of course, I've been to Cass, but I want to show her Cass because she's not from here. She's from Oklahoma. So, Cass, Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, EBT. We went to TVRM. Just all kinds of them, man. I can't really think of any others right now, but okay. So trains, content, and updates. Who wants to start us off with this one?
Now, would you like to go first, Eric?
Oh, sure, why not? Well, the switchback. No, we got Sweet Carolina's working as close to completion. Salute is being worked on. I'm working on Camino and a few reskins here and there. So, got some ideas. Nothing set in stone, but the 2 big things have been Saluda and Sweet Carolina. That's what we're hoping. That's what should be soon. Trademark.
Trademark.
Patent pending.
Yeah, soon. Everything's, how it is. Things change all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
In the
what we're
course
up
of
to.
THS, we got the southern signage which is on its way to being completed. After receiving documentation and diagrams for a bunch of it from some very helpful members of the Southern community. The unfortunate fact of that is me having to redo almost all of it, but it will be accurate, and that is what matters most.
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get those done, there's CAD's commission, which is a Southern MS4 Heavy Mikado, which should be coming decently down the line. I still have the 9000 class to finish, and there's a few more updates of older things on the way, including a very special release which may be coming, so I'm going to leave that one up to future.
Mm-hmm. I don't even want to talk about my route.
Not happy with it?
No, I'm happy with it. I just don't update it quick enough. I mean, I might do what Wit Simulations is doing and release it in phases. Do it that way.
That's if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get it out there, but I don't have that motivation to just continuously build on it, so that's why I'm leaning towards, in phases instead of just all at once.
Yeah, it's a good approach to have.
But
I know, didn't the PMB get released in like...
Yeah,
he's got
PMB's
the
in
first
phases.
section up. Is he ever going to complete the...
V2, let me tell if you want to know about the PM, let me tell you, V2 is very close, is very, very nice. It's very close, actually, to being done. He's got a lot to do still, but he's got a lot of ground done in V2. So V2 will be out, not anytime soon, but look out for it eventually. It'll, a couple more, maybe like a year or so, I'd say.
I just watched Joe earlier, and I was trying to get some inspiration for some areas to make, and it was that last episode of the PMB, and that was like 8 months ago, man. I was like, man, he's disappeared, and he said then that it was 80% done, I think.
So he's about, I'd say he's about 90, honestly. It's just after that, it's the battle of, the beta testing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks very nice, and I've seen it in the weekly hangouts, and I can tell you it's very, from what you got from like the original one with like JVC trees and stuff, it's drastically 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the improvements overall to the route. I think it looks really, really nice. I think people are going to be excited for that.
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna buy
this would be a bop.
I'm going to buy it. I love Joe's routes.
How much is it going to be? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably about the same price as the PNB was original. Well, I don't. Now, that's the thing. I think he said he was going to sell this one. So I don't know. But that I don't know. I remember the first one was free, but it's also phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is, it's probably going to be about the same as the rest of them. It's probably like maybe like 10, 15 bucks, something like that.
I mean,
for something that big, he might even go 20, but you're getting a huge map.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him for putting a price on it, honestly. I watched that video earlier, and just the work that he was putting into it then, yeah, I would probably expect him to put a price on it, and I would pay for it. It's a really good looking route.
Mm-hmm. He's got to know the impact he's had, but he's very he doesn't take it I feel like he doesn't think about it as oh damn, I've made this impact. It's like, nah, you've literally created a whole generation of community.
Mm-hmm.
You've inspired pretty much every single person that currently does content now in some facet. That is amazing. And he was the first to do the city skyline style Let's Build with Trains.
Yeah!
He was kind of the first person to do that.
I'm so glad.
Great move.
Because there were people who did speed builds before, but there was no one who did the speed build with the narration and the cinematics, and he was the first I saw. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That is perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking this game needed. It was something just like this.
It works.
And it's what everybody wanted, and
And then what happened? You had people. I mean, me. I started making them there a couple years ago.
I started making them.
Yeah, yeah. You, Wit Simulations. There was this other guy. I can't remember his name. He was making a route, and I remember watching him while I was making. I think it was either the cast route or no, it was the cast route while I was making the cast route. So he inspired like a lot of people. But to follow up on the beginning of that tangent, yeah, I think I'll probably do phases more than likely. And phase one, I'm not sure when that would be either.
I would just take your time.
Hmm.
Rushing anything makes it worse.
Yeah, we learned that from having a mountain taller than Bald Knob on the cast route.
I will never let you leave.
I remember Simon confronting me about that. Oh god, it was funny.
Hey, do you know this mountain's taller?
It's the
What's the-
tallest peak in
what's
West
that?
Virginia.
You also, did you ever see the spike of death that was like halfway down the track?
Yeah, the big rock. No, the terrain that was spiked up.
Yeah, the terrain.
Yeah.
The spike of death.
I had to fix that. And the rock beside the track. And the mountain taller than Bald Knob. But dude, whenever I was making that route, oh my god. I was just pushing through it once I got up to Old Spruce. God.
He's gonna hurt himself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see here. New updates to trains. I don't know all of these. Brom, you'd probably be the man for this.
Okay.
Oh,
I'd be probably there. Unless you got something, James?
I mean, am I allowed to talk about what I've been up to?
Oh yeah,
have
yeah,
at it.
yeah. Go ahead.
So recently, for the past about, I'd say, month or so, I've been working my rear end off, preparing more consist packs for the Huntington shops. If for anyone that's tuning in, this is going to be a live reveal for everything that I've been up to. So, first of all, these are all confirmed and completed. Actually, I'm just finalizing them. We have modern freight consist packs, 1850s freight consist packs, 1890s freight consist packs, and excursion packs. If you did participate in the poll that I did put out, I know that I mentioned that I was curious, poking around to see if anyone wanted 1940s revamps, and I'm going to state this right now. Those are currently in the works right now, and all of these consist packs will be released at some point in the future. They are all coming. I've been listening, and thank you to everyone who's participated in the poll. You've all gave me some lovely ideas to work with, and I hope to bring a lot more packs in the future.
I really enjoy these packs. I like them.
Thank you. I try.
Who was it? Eric? You were asking for somebody that would make consist packs because you saw mine and you asked me to make consist packs. I think James's is pretty. I think they're pretty good, man. I
They
do.
are.
The greatest
I
part of it
appreciate
is,
it.
when you want to run a quick setup and you don't want to spend time for a whole train, you can just plop that down and good to go.
Yeah.
Especially if you're testing something, that's the biggest thing. Like when
Yeah.
I'm testing engine specs or something, and I want a general idea, that is a very good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been hearing that the iPortaling community has gone crazy over these packs. Heard they've been enjoying that a lot. So, if any of you iPortalers are out in the chat right now listening, they're coming soon. Don't worry. I haven't forgot about you guys.
I didn't know iPortalers were using them.
Yeah, I know Blackwater. He mentioned to me that the iPortal server absolutely loved the packs. So
That's good.
see a need, fill a need. You know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see here. So the updates to train. Does anybody else want to cover anything that they're
I
working
can
on?
cover just trains updates because I think everybody's pretty much solid that out. Unless Chad has something he'd like to mention because he just got back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a couple things in the works. Temporarily right now, I'm just putzing around, but I've been working on an update to Sweet Carolina, the upcoming route between Switchback and Huntington. Still got goods for that route coming along the way, but it'll be out soon, wink wink. Other than that, not a whole lot.
Okay. So all in all together, sounds like there's a lot of stuff coming out. So there's a lot of stuff for people to look forward to. That's good news as always. That gives people something to, like I said, look forward to from both websites.
Before we move on to the next topic, I wanted to also add on. Not sure if many of you heard, but we have Facebook, so feel free to drop in on that if you ever want some updates.
I forgot to mention about that.
Okay. So
Shall be posted.
We are a boomer with Facebook. So if you message me in particular, I will respond. It will be very slow.
Oh, okay. I think the only one that did Nathaniel cover something?
I don't got anything.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right, so new updates to trains. Brom, take it away.
Okay, so first up, HD terrain is right around the corner. A lot of people have been very excited for that. They're in the final stages. It's currently out for beta testing with a few people as they put out in their, their monthly
Newsletter.
email thing? Yeah, newsletter. So that's very close to being here. I am excited. That stuff is amazing. We've
I'm
been
looking
needing
forward
for
to that, too.
years. Benefits of it, not only does it removes the parallax issue, which has been a major thing. A lot of people cite that as why they don't like PBR textures. You know, if you have a sharp edge or something, it has that weird bending, melting effect. That's the parallax issue. That's gone. You'll no longer have that. The other thing is the height map of the material, the texture for the ground, will actually work with the height map data and the terrain data for the HD terrain. So whatever texture you put down will be highlighted by the terrain itself and add more depth and variation to it.
Okay.
Performance-wise, it's supposed to be about the same as the current terrain we have. The other benefit with that too is because of how it's rendered. When you go into the map view looking down, it will actually be 3D and not 2D.
Okay.
So the map view will now properly be a map. Imagine something like SnowRunner, I'm guessing for that. I don't believe you'll be able to rotate and stuff in it as far as I know, but that will be a very nice feature to have to see things in real time. The new texture scaling is coming with that. I can't remember the exact scale, but it's like you should be able to get down to like 0.2 meters now for resolution. So you can paint very fine scenes and detailing with that. There is a color layer which will be added on top of the texture, so you can have more color variation across one texture because it adds another layer through the map to change it out. That is a very nice thing to have help break up monotony a lot with the PBR materials. Because unlike traditional ones, you don't want to rotate PBR materials while you're placing them down. You want it to stay in one direction for the best appearance. So that will be a wonderful help with that and making things look better. Let's see, what else are they working on? They're working on trains living railroads, which is going to be a very future thing coming out. But it's a pretty much rebuild of the AI system. So when you go to make multiplayer like AI routes and sessions, stuff like that, it will create pretty much waybills and consists, and it will automatically link up like what goes where and what industries connect to each other and create consists for trains around that. At least from what I read on their page.
Oh.
I'm probably misconstruing stuff, but that is a very, very nice thing. I'm looking forward to testing out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one the most because I've always enjoyed setting up AI trains.
Yeah,
I'll
me
put
too.
a link to the page in the chat of the stream, and I'll put one here for us to look at. Because that is a very nice thing. Here we go.
Personally, though, if I could interject here, I think with this though, we are going to see a huge change in the way that people make models for the game as well. Because when I download cars, right, whenever I'm making, my consist packs or I'm just setting up a train in general, when, I'm just goofing about on trains, you know, what I've noticed is that a lot of people do like specialized loads for like, uh, their cars. Trying to put the phrasing together, like, what's a good example? Like Dave Snow assets. Yeah, Dave Snow. I was poking around some of them, just trying to see, and most of those box cars, they don't accept general goods. And I think with this Trains Living Railroad, when it does finally drop, you're gonna see a lot of people start modifying their box cars, or just modifying their cars in general to see so that it all works up and it's compatible with Trains Living Railroad. So that's gonna be exciting to see. It's gonna be probably a major change in how we all make content. So I'd pay attention to it, especially if you're a content creator for this game, because something tells me that it's going to change a lot of the rules and a lot of the things that we know about this game. Wouldn't you guys say?
I would agree.
Very much so. I just got a message as well. I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name or not, so I'll just give username. But Trainsman54, the HD terrain is actually down to 0.125 meters for
Wow.
textures.
Dang.
So you can get very tight. Actually, Caleb, if you like, if you click the link and go through it,
Mhm.
you can change your screen over to that and show off their page on it for people.
Mhm.
So that way they can see what's coming.
Yeah. By the way, hello to the 10 viewers in chat right now. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Give me 1 second to.
Oh, 11 now.
Uh.
You can tell how technologically adapted we are.
Yeah.
Oh. How technologically adept they are. I'm just sitting here and having a good time.
If I try to window capture. Ah. It died.
The beef is in the ambulance out back. Yes.
What?
The beef is on my plate. I'm having a nice steak dinner right now. Care to join us?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I've got this. Yeah. Okay. So, the HD terrain. Oh yeah, I remember looking at this. So the HD terrain is it's really nice. And the way that it just, oh my
See
god.
if you can full screen that. Or that'll work right there. Just getting it sized for people.
Mhm. Wow. So that's what trains looks like now.
Yeah,
And
so if you pull
then,
the slider, that's a slider there.
yeah, stay over here. So the thing that I note the most in this is the you can really get these rolls into the hill coming down from like small landslides. But what I've noted the most is how this wall is actually looking like it's holding back terrain, whereas over here in the original 5M terrain, it you know, you've got that just that gap in between, so it looks like it's not really serving much of a purpose.
The greatest part of that's just like how much more fine tuning you can do to it, so you can
Yeah.
get that effect in there and
Yeah.
actually working.
So let's scroll down here. So we've got over to the left, we've got the old PBR and stuff, and then wow, the HD terrain. With parallax only, there are significant limitations when viewing ground textures from certain camera angles.
I'm certain you've seen that a good few times on routes, looking at things.
So the HD terrain is just phenomenal compared to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see how small the paintbrush is and like what they're actually able to do down here. Wow.
The future is here. That's the way I like putting it.
Beep beep. The future is now, old man.
Diesel's at Silverton, farmer, cry.
About.
Man.
The stream's very much behind as I'm watching, but yeah, the amount of detail you can paint in a scene now, just looking at their image for it's amazing.
Oh,
It's so nice.
I read this a while back, but I didn't get too deep into it, and your explanation of it helped me understand it with the living railroad.
Personally, though, my only wish is that this was available to all users.
It will be eventually. Keyword eventually.
Yeah, that's a pretty big
Yeah,
keyword.
you gotta hold out for Trains 2025. I keep telling you, hold out another 3 years. You'll get it all. You'll get. I'm telling you, the next game's gonna have Surveyor 2.0 and all this as it built into the base game. So if you invest in it now and learn to use it when it comes out to everybody, you already have the advantage.
Yeah, but
That's why I want to get Plus, because I want to start learning 2.0. Because
Plus is worth it.
I
There's
really
so
want
much
to get in.
nice stuff to get. And
Plus,
plus, the biggest thing is you're actually supporting them more directly so they can do this stuff and get it done with quicker.
Exactly.
Because as much as I'm not a fan of N3V, without money, you know, the game will die. So they need to make things.
And they actually want to improve things, so
Yeah, the DirectX 12 and Clutter GPU is going to be very good to have. That will speed things up dramatically.
It's shocking that they aren't. It's amazing that this is a game that isn't on DirectX 12.
Which might also be why it's so terrible to run.
Because like every modern game is up to at least up to that. Like I've had every AAA game runs off of that on a computer for the most part.
The biggest thing I'd be looking for is the day they finally update the RN engine to like actually be a modern game engine for good PBR and modern support. Because it's still technically the same game from 2004, just with 1,000 times more things on it.
Yeah.
I've said this 100 times. People get mad at me usually when I mention it, but they need to just cut support entirely for very old content. Drop all the stuff it required and make the minimum like tame or something like that. Which you're going to lose a lot of stuff, but the biggest problem in this community is creators refuse to make something because it's already in existence. even though it's from 2005, it looks terrible. They just won't do it because it's already dead. That needs to change. So if you got rid of all the stuff, people would actually have to start making things again.
That's a good point.
Because, you know, it's something else when you're looking at a game, you know, like modern PBR textures, a PBR engine, and people are still pulling a box with photo textures from 2004 behind it. That should not be happening.
But it's classic content.
There's a limit to that.
Yeah,
And there's some
there's
really
a limit.
good old content too.
True.
You know, the Cowboys 9000, that thing still holds up. It looks better than some modern stuff coming out. That's a real shame to the modern community, in my opinion, when the 2004 model still beats out some things. That was
Yeah.
a very good model.
It still's a good model. Its scripting is phenomenal.
It did break in 19 and up though, so the script will no longer be a part of it. Unless I can get that fixed up, but we'll see how that goes.
Still a good script regardless.
Very much so.
Alright, so website progress and updates. Brom, you've been the man in charge.
Alright, so most people probably already know we moved to a new website link from the old one. So the old Roblox Railfander site is down, no longer functioning. It's now under my tag, pretty much, but it's a lot easier to get to and work. Whole thing got revamped for an easier navigation of stuff, since the old one had. I could have worked with the old one, but it just was not going to be good enough. So we nuked it and got a new one, which might be happening again in the future. I'm working out what I can do with it, but we may have a domain and a full website at some point in the near future. So just be looking out for that. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Eric, unless you're not finished, Brom.
I'm good.
Well, the last release, we switched, the site did be updated. We changed our entire site layout. It is completely different with new branding, new logo, new color scheme, new everything. So that's what we've been big on. Not much has changed on it. Not too much has changed, but it's brand new. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's very nice. More user friendly than ever.
It's a very nice site.
Okay. So is that everything for both of the websites?
Yeah, I haven't updated it since the release because we haven't had anything.
Okay. So, what's the steam locomotive you guys want to talk about? Is there one that's... I hear somebody typing up for one right now.
I'm very much looking forward to 2816 making its transcontinental run.
2816.
That's right around the corner.
What's I'm sorry, what's 2816?
The Canadian Pacific Hudson.
Oh.
The Empress.
Yes, the Empress. The Empress returns.
You know, I actually heard that any day now they're going to be releasing the tour schedule.
So
It
it's,
could
I
be
saw them
like-
make a mention of that. They had another
That's gonna-
video of a test run a few days
You know,
ago.
that's gonna be wild to see the Empress down in Mexico. I'm just saying, that's gonna be
Yeah.
very wild.
Very
No,
wild.
this is like excursion history. Like,
Like, yeah, like a CP engine is literally gonna be able to cross from Canada through the entirety of the North American continent. That
Yeah,
is
and I-
insane.
it's just insane in general. I mean, think about it. Think about it. When's the last time that anyone here has heard of a steam locomotive going to Mexico?
Never.
Exactly. And before you foamers start spamming in the chat, know that one scene from Tough Guys doesn't count. 4449 didn't go to Mexico, bozos. But I know someone's gonna try it.
The only thing they could do to top it is if they sent it overseas so that we could say we did better than the Flying Scotsman.
I wanna-
That's a good one.
Why don't we? Why is the Why have we never taken like our pride of like our famous, like a few of our famous engines? Why have we never taken them to like around
To
the
be fair,
world?
they wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
Make them fit.
we
We're not stupid enough to send our pride and joy like the British.
They had
did.
to They had to retool the Flying Scot. They had to put the Flying Scotsman on there.
we did it with the NASCAR. It's,
Hey,
Yeah, we did it at Le Mans. We could do it again. Come on, baby, let's go.
24 hours of the
Dude,
K4.
you know how funny the NASCAR stuff
Big boy.
was? Like the search
Big-
results for NASCAR peaked after that. So you had European people discovering classic southeastern racing for the first time.
And you know, I heard that the car that did go to Le Mans, like it wasn't a joke either. It did like really good for like,
Yeah,
you know,
it
a
did
NASCAR. It like smoked out like I swear like 80% of the competition.
All
Like,
I'm saying is, can you imagine going over to Europe, hearing someone say "Race Hell, Praise Dale"? That'd
Oh, that'd be the day.
Boys. Oh yes, 24 hours of lemons. I love watching their stuff. That's
lemons.
great. Y'all ever watch?
Lemons. No, I haven't. I actually didn't even know what the race was until I heard that
Hold on.
NASCAR went. That's when I was like,
No,
what the heck?
Not Le Mans. There's an actual thing in America. It's called 24 Hours of Lemons, where people race $500 and less cars.
That's so American. I love it.
The only thing you're allowed to spend money on is the safety system. Hold on.
Safety system.
It's required to have like a roll cage and stuff like that. If you check chat, there's their YouTube page. They race
Be right back.
like year-round across the country. It is amazing.
And that's a sub. Oh, this looks so fun.
You can go to their website as well. It's full of them. They have some.
It's crazy. The Empress, man.
The Empress making history, you know.
That's such a good looking
CPKCS.
steam engine too. You know, I'll put aside bias. I like it. That's a good looking engine.
CPKCS doing what no other Class 1 will do, which is run a goddamn steam engine.
You know. However, though, we got to admit, what's going to happen. After the fact. We have to admit that every foamer across all three nations is going to start praising 2816, and we are not going to hear the end of it.
Okay, wait.
I'm
I
okay
don't.
with that.
As much
But I'm
as I
okay
love-
with that.
As much as I love talking about the dude, that's great and all, but 1361's firebox was fully funded, and the work is now continued fully funded. Now they're working on a new firebox for 1361. So the K4 is getting a step closer.
It'd be nice to have one of those running that wasn't destroyed because of stupidity.
Yeah.
1361, my beloved.
Pinsy Fulmer.
Speaking of the
I'm sorry,
Penzi,
it's gonna be one of the second operating PRR engine in existence.
well, I
right
mean,
now. That's
So
a.
what? Where's operating Great Northern?
I agree
he's
with
got
you,
a
but
point.
granted.
Yeah, where's
PRR
operating Boston and Maine?
But the PRR was also the largest Class 1 of its time and had the largest locomotive roster of K4s with like fucking 500 of them. There's
Oh,
only two
big
left.
Oh,
You get what I mean, though? It's a lot
Look
of.
at the Central. Look at the
we're
Central
so
had its
happy.
J's. The Central had its J's.
I'll
Where are
leave.
the J's?
I'll leave it. We're just gonna do this because I was actually trying to be serious, but you know, you
No,
guys are gonna be
no.
assholes about it.
No. I'm sorry.
No,
we're
because you're doing that
fucking-
central thing that I hate, and no, I don't like.
I didn't
can't
mention
talk.
the Central. I hate
Oh.
it.
Oh, sugar honey. I see. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, Eric. I'll stop. I'm sorry. Please
I was
forgive
just trying
me.
to say the K4 is coming back, and I'm very excited because I've never seen a PR engine run in my life.
That's true. I'm going to be. That's exciting. You know.
That's local, man. That's local, man. Oh,
Then-
speaking of local, hold on. I got another good one.
I was gonna say before you jump on it. I was gonna say T1 Trust. They're coming along pretty nice. A little scary. I don't think any.
They'll say it. Out of everything they could have picked, they picked the worst thing they could have.
I mean,
they
played
could
a
have
game
picked.
of drunken Russian roulette, and it ended up in that.
I mean, they could have picked the S1 and truly not be able to do anything with it.
What about the Q2? At least that thing was functional.
Yeah, that wouldn't fit anywhere either.
See,
It
but
was
like
at least
again,
more functional.
It was
why
more
not pick-
functional, but it's like just about as practical as the
But
T1.
why
which is
not pick a
impractical.
Pensy design that was tried and true that doesn't exist anymore?
well,
Which is none of 'em.
doesn't like one of them still exist, like down at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania? Like,
Yeah, but those are okay. But all those engines are either not owned by the museum, or they're owned by the museum, or they're privately owned and they're at the museum. Like the E6. The E6 is not owned by the Railroad Museum. It's owned by a private owner. It's just at the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania.
oh, I see.
That's why they can't. That's why you can't take. That's why everybody says, "Oh, you got the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania," but half of that stuff isn't theirs. It's just someone else's that is at the museum.
It just happens to be there.
Yeah, they just
know what
they
I
put
want
it
to
at the
see?
museum.
PRRHC1, bring back the Super Solid.
Yeah, right.
160,000 pounds of tractive effort from the rail.
I'm just
Let's
saying,
go,
you're-
boys.
You're rebuilding a T1, but just build an M1 from the ground up.
All right, but like at the same time, I don't think any of us
Like a
expected them to
standard
get this
design
far.
of
You
locomotive,
know?
and you don't have to go. I get the point of it. The T1 is very iconic looking. It's just it wasn't the greatest at what it did.
I'm amazed it's actually come as
And how we were talking about PTC earlier on a steam locomotive, that's going to be another thing with that one. This is how are you going to fit PTC on? Like we were just talking about earlier. Like it's the same dilemma.
As the old saying goes, if there's a will, there is a way.
I think it's more feasible with the T1 because you got shrouding over the tender where the train phone is.
Oh,
Just hide
yeah.
it under there.
Yeah, you don't really need a train phone nowadays, right? You could just hide it, where the train phone is.
Mm.
I don't know. I think it's a money pit.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
I think it's a noble effort, but I don't think the locomotive is going to do what they think it's going to do for them because it's just so big.
Take the locomotor, run it on the main line.
Like I said, this thing's going to be at Strasbourg. One day, this thing's going to be at Strasbourg. I just want everybody to realize that there's going to be a T1 at Strasbourg when they pull in, like, old cars. It's going to look goofy like when 611 was there. It's going to look really goofy. This is...
Mm.
But the
It's gonna be this
foamers will
giant
love
engine
it.
pulling such tiny cars. The foamers are gonna love it. Everybody's gonna like the. I'll go see it. If
It's
at
literally
Strasbourg, I'd go see it.
trains in real life.
Yeah, I would go see it. If they complete this and it's right, I'll see it. Why not? But again, I'm gonna say you could have done something else. Would have been just as cool and would have been more feasible.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for now. I think that they can do some truly great things. I heard they have some great ideas. I think they can do it.
I'm not saying they can't. It's just, it's an odd choice. That's why I just disagree with the decision of picking that locomotive. I think they're gonna do wonderful and it's gonna be cool, but I just don't think it's gonna be. It's not a successful design. This is.
Well, I mean, that could be argued for like any engine that they could have pulled out. I mean, I know everyone has yelled at me. It's like, I don't get it. And Eric, I'm sorry. I'm not like doing this against you. I'm just saying this is like something that a lot of people have told me. Like, I don't get it. Like, why don't they build like a new J? And
Yeah. I agree.
I hear that, but
Hudson.
the Hudsons are cool, but at the same time, you got to remember they had like a 40-something% coal efficiency. So most of that coal is just going to be shooting out the funnel. Like, every design has its own unique quirks and flaws that, kind of makes it a shitbox. And, people don't, I guess...
Yeah, okay, I get you on the full fuel efficiency, but the point of it is that locomotive can go anywhere.
That's true.
The T1's going to be restricted to some places it cannot go because they just cannot support the turning radius of the locomotive. Because they don't have wide enough curves. That's my thing, because this is a rigid framed locomotive. This is not articulated. This is a rigid framed locomotive.
Yeah, I did hear though from some sources that they had a way around that. What they were going to do, and I don't know if this is really a smart idea. What they were gonna do is that they were gonna blind out two of the drivers
Yeah.
and like kind of like a Lionel train, you know. And once they do that, they said apparently it could be able to take the curve range of something like 765, but like
Yeah, and you know who you know where that idea came from? PRR.
what? Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of engines with blind drivers out there. That's how engines like the 9000s were even possible.
Mhm.
Narrow gauge.
They do it. They
interstat.
did it. They did it. You know. It's already an
It's a
idea.
tried and true method.
That's why I said it could work. It'll probably work. It's just, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting choice. That's all I say.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing
I like
I
triggering people by
wasn't
saying it's a waste of money.
I wasn't here for the first half. We're on the preservation segment now.
yep.
All right.
Anyways, before we got into this whole talk about 5550, you mentioned, Eric, that something local was going on to you. So I'll give you back the
Well, I
torch.
think that Daniel has something local to him first. If you want to go
I
first.
have
Oh, of
something local.
Go ahead,
So-
Nathaniel.
Recently, and this is something that's been in my town forever. There was it was owned by the New York Central, but it wasn't used by the New York Central. It was used by their dispatch car shops. Shop switcher number 5 has been pulled out of its former resting place and donated to the Rochester and Genesee Valley Railroad Museum. I don't remember what their plans for it was, but the story behind that engine is that sometime in the 60s when the shop was converting to, well, I think it already did convert to diesel power, but it was sitting around and they wanted a place for it. So some guy here in my town bought it and wanted to start his own railroad with it. He bought the engine, fixed it up, had no trackage to run it on, and so it sat for decades. And only recently this year did it get pulled out and donated to the museum. I actually, by surprise, saw its saddle tank being moved by a flatbed truck, so that was neat to see. Got a picture of it here somewhere. But
That's good.
yeah, there's another New York Central locomotive, technically preserved.
Technicality.
It's an
It's a
040 saddle
technicality,
tank.
guys. But no, preservation of anything is good.
It's very nice, Daniel. It'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Now we can say, the holy phrase line, restore it, running on the main line, God bless.
Yeah.
They're planning on restoring it, right?
I don't know what they're doing with it. As far as I know, it's just going to be a display thing after they fix it cosmetically.
Oh, they also have all that other stuff they gotta fix cosmetically.
Yeah.
That's cool though. At least I got a little steam locomotive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a nice little piece when they can get it all prettied up.
Yeah.
Put it down at the depot.
That'd be something.
That's probably where they'll put it, where they got the Ferris Bank Mall. They'll probably put it on that little track there.
Maybe.
That's cool though.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything?
Let me pull it up. I sure do. I got lots of goodies. Facebook.
Big book. The Book of Faces.
I gotta go to my account. Hold on. I'll switch back. There we go. Okay, there's a lot of cool things happening in South Jersey. Let me tell you, the two tourist roads in South Jersey are getting very interesting, I have to say. Cape May Seashore Lines is currently we speculate there's a PRSL GP38-2 that's was rebuilt from the original PRSL 38s, and If you're not familiar with them, those were dual control stands with dynamicless. They were dynamicless dual control stand GP38s. Very interesting. So one of those has been labeled for NJSL, which is the subsidiary of Cape May Seashore Lines. So we think it's heading to Tuckahoe, so we'll be operating on the Cape May Seashore Line. So that would be 3 XPRSL GP38s on home rails. That's very, very cool. But the other one, Woodstown Central, is currently rebuilding a flat car from the New Haven, which I can only speculate is going to be turned into an open air car of some kind. Because they've been using it for maintenance, but I can only assume it's going to become an open air car of some kind. They are finished their first coach. They currently are almost done their second arch roof, which will be their cafe car, which will have a PA system and air conditioning. The first car they did was, I believe, was Holden's Creek. That's just a coach car. That's very nice. When I went there, it's a beautiful coach. But number 9, their steam locomotive is going to, let's just say by Christmas, we could be seeing a Santa train with some smoke. Number 9 is their little 060 from New Hope and Ivyland. They've been very, very quick with the restoration of it. By Christmas time, we should have an operating steam engine in South Jersey for the first time since 2005. It'd be very nice. On top of that, they are currently the railroad is building, has cleared and laid a parking lot south of Woodstown where they are going to construct an exact replication of a Reading station from the area. So it would be to a Reading, like about the 1920 standard Reading station, which would be really nice. They're going to have a small parking lot, and I believe they're also going to have a small area where they're going to have a gift shop and things of the nature there as well, or maybe a little museum. And then right down there, they have a siding for the new station, and then there will be a shop where number 9 will be kept. So the station area is getting completely redeveloped in this giant field. So they are redeveloping an area for a railroad. It's getting very interesting. They're moving quick. And one other thing, they're going to take the SMS rail lines, AAS 616, the 6-axle Baldwin, is going to be repainted into dark green locomotive enamel and will be in a Fowkes PRSL paint. So we will have something very similar to an AS16 running on XPRSL track in a PRSL heritage paint. It's going to be great. Lots of exciting things in South Jersey.
Looking forward to seeing some of that. Because actually, are you working on any more NJT stuff by the possibility?
Not currently. I redid some. I've been thinking about redoing the FHs from USLW, give them a little bit of some love. But not really. NJT don't have nothing else in terms of diesel, because the F40s I can't do because I could do the payola ones, but I can't put them out. I think I did everything I could. The only thing I'm missing now is a Comet 5 car, which I have a model of, I just cannot re-release it. That was an MSTS convert, but I cannot release that. That was the agreement between the original modeler. We could convert it, but we couldn't release it. But that's the only thing I would love to have at this point, is a Comet 5 car and a Comet 5 cab car. Then I think we'd have everything for NJT.
Looking forward to that. That is if I don't wind up making one. We'll find out. If you need it and you can't find it, you just gotta make it.
All right. So, for the last topic, and obviously not the least, the Cass Scenic Railroad and the Greenbrier Line completion / expansion. Am I the only one here that really knows a lot about that, or do you guys know anything about it?
You'd be
Boy,
close
what
to
you
going
talking
on.
about? You saved the least for last. I'm kidding. No, I know a little bit about it, not too much. I do know that. So what I know about it was that the extension connects the Cass Scenic to the Durban Railroad, making Cass and Durban one huge continuous railroad again. It was like that originally, but it was either an avalanche, not an like an avalanche or a washout or a rock slide. Something cut off the two sections of track from each other, and
Flood.
they've been restoring it for like a long, long time.
So it's a I can't remember if it's C&O chassis or Western Maryland X mainline. But it used to be directly connected to one of the big railroads around it back then. And so it's no longer connected to any main line whatsoever, not even close. It is rebuilt, and not too long ago, like maybe I don't want to give a time range because I'm not exactly sure, but I'll say like a month or two ago, they rebuilt Trout Run Bridge, and then they ran the photo charter train, and so now they're offering rides along the Greenbrier, and Isaac, you know Isaac Brom,
Oh,
or well, all of you probably know Isaac. He sent me a picture earlier of him at Durban, and then he sent me a picture that Shay 4 was at Durban, and we just kind of covered it briefly. That it was super weird seeing a Shay at Durban instead of like what was the Durban Rocket, the Climax, and then was the Cass Heisler. Now any of the logging locomotives can make their way down there, like Big Six, or just literally any of them. So I'm looking forward to going to that, and I really want to check it out because I haven't been able to. I think that's about it on it, really.
That's awesome.
Is there anything else anybody would like to cover briefly, or?
Oh, not too particularly I can think of.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll end it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Y'all have a good time, YouTube. We'll see you around next time.
Thanks for
Alright.
watching.
Thanks for coming out,